Hello everyone. In this video, I'll show you sample questions about IXL assignments TXC and 6W2. So before getting on to the IXL, let me just show you the overview of week number 2, the school year. So we are gonna deal with number and quantity subset of algebra. We will have 3 standards that we are gonna deal with. The first one is about unit conversions. So on Monday, you'll have these two IXL assignments. They will cover the standard. It's about unit conversion and deciding what unit would be the best, or what's the unit of a particular formula, algebraic formula, in a question. And that's what this lesson is going to cover. For the first half of the week, we are going to deal with IXL questions, and for the second half of the week, we are going to deal with Study Island. So Study Island is usually going to be a little harder than IXL's level. The questions are not going to be exactly the same, but they will cover the same material. So whatever, on IXL, we are going to deal with units of different questions. We are going to decide how to make conversions between each unit. On Study Island, it is exactly the same, but the level of rigor is going to be a little higher. So the second half of the week is going to be dedicated to Study Island, and then on Fridays, usually we are going to have our CATS quizzes. The quizzes are going to be on Study Island, so the questions are going to be more focused on Study Island aspects of the standards. So you can think of IXL and Study Island as the IXL is the foundation of what we are going to do, and then the Study Island builds upon that foundation. So let's get to the matrix. We are doing week 2, Monday's assignment, IXL, TXC, and 6W2. So all you have to do is, once again, those two assignments are this one here and that one, customary and metric units. We're going to start with the customary unit. We're going to solve questions like how many ounces is a pound, like those sort of questions. Let's get started. I will exit out this Study Island over here. Let's say we are on Clever or you are on Clever. You're going to hit this IXL app, and then we are looking for TXC, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, TXC. So once you get on IXL, at the top right corner, you'll have your recommended skills, but it's probably going to be about like 20 different skill set that you're recommended by your teachers. So the best and easiest way to get on those assignments would be just typing those 3 letters or numbers in here. So the first one is TXC. So these are unique names, skill IDs for IXL's assignments. So if you type it right, you're going to have only one assignment in the first line. That's the one that you need to get on. So if we click this right here, so let's see the first question and talk about this one. I'll show you what my expectation is, by the way, when you get on these sort of an assignment. So the first question says, convert 32 ounces into pounds. So I know that 1 pound equals to 16 ounces, but you may not know this right on top of your head. It's okay. So what I would think is someone who knows that 1 pound equals to 16 ounces, I would think about, okay, if 16 ounces is 1 pound, how about 32 ounces? So that would be 2 pounds, because 16 times 2 is 32, 1 pound times 2 would be 2 pounds. But before getting on to those details, let me just show you one thing. Always hit this learn with an example and see how the IXL guys are solving these questions. Okay, it says the same thing over here. 1 pound equals to 16 ounces. So from this point, here is what I would do. 1 pound is 16 ounces. So I don't know how many pounds I have, so I will put a question mark. And then the number of ounces in the question given is 64, right? So here is what I would do. It's all totally up to you. Whether you want to do my way or the way that Study Island is doing, I will scroll down and show you what they did, and then it's totally up to you what you want to do. So ounces are together, pounds are together. So figure out the pattern in here. This is times 4. 16 times 4 equals to 64. So that's the pattern that I need to have on the other side. So what about 1 times 4? So 1 times 4 is 4 pounds. That would be my 4 pounds. That would be my answer. So once again, put the same units on the same side and then decide the pattern on one of the sides and then figure out the other side by applying the same pattern. If you are dividing, and divide. If you're multiplying, multiply. But the only two operations that you need to use in this lesson is either multiplication or division. We are not dealing with addition or subtractions because we are dealing with ratios when we deal with unit conversions. And ratios deal with either multiplication or division. Now, let's just scroll down and see what their solution is. Write a conversion factor to convert ounces to pounds. Put ounces in the denominator so that they will cancel out the ounces that are given. So first, they are trying to figure out 64 ounces, right? And then we are going to figure out how many pounds this one is. For 64 ounces, we know that the ratio is, let me just change the color. The ratio is, again, as I said, ratios deal with multiplication or divisions. 1 pound equals to 16 ounces. The reason we put the ounces in the bottom over here is so that they cancel each other out. The ounces are gone now, just the ounces, the units. Now what I have is 64 divided by 16. You'll grab your calculator. 64 divided by 16 equals to 4. And then the only unit in this ratio is that pound at the top. 4 pounds. This is 1 pound, by the way. I forgot the letter L. So that's 1 pound. So I bring it down. So either use this way or the way that I showed you, where you put the same units together on one side, figure out the pattern, apply it to the other side. Now, let's have another example. I'll pause the video for now. Oh, by the way, I totally forgot about the question that we have. So for this one, since we figured out that we knew that 1 pound equals to 16 ounces, you may want to use Google to figure this one out, like by typing a question like how many ounces is a pound, and then it'll show you the answer, and then put it in the first line, and then put the given things in the second line. 32 ounces. I have my ounces on the right side, so I will take this 32 ounces and then put it over here underneath that 16. Now I have my ounces together. I need to put question mark pound on the other side. You can either put LB or pounds, doesn't matter. So now the pattern that I can figure out is on the right because I have two numbers, 16 to 32. What times 16 gives me 32? It is 2 times. So this right here is going to be times 2. And then you do the math. What is 1 pound times 2? It is 2 pounds. So, and then we will put 2 over here. Just that. We are not writing any unit because it's already written in there. So let's see another example. Okay, here's another example. I just jumped one level. IXL has about 5 different levels in each skill set. So as a teacher, I have that ability. I can just jump a level using these arrows. So I just jumped to this next level. So for this question, instead of me telling you how many yards is a feet, I'll just Google it because probably that's what you will do. So I will walk you through the steps and see what that number is, and then we're going to go from there. So let's see how many yards is a feet. By just Googling feet to yards, we can figure that out. So probably we are not gonna like this answer, and I'll show you something else. Okay, as you see, this is like 0.333 yards. I don't want to have that number, but this tells me something else. Divide the length value by 3. But what about if I switch them? So probably it's going to be like multiply by 3. So let's see, instead of feet to yards, let's see yard to feet, okay? So let's just Google that one. Yard to feet. Okay. So 1 yard equals 3 feet. This looks like something that I can use easier than the other one. And also it gives you the formula. Multiply the length value by 3 if you're looking for the number of feet. So 1 yard, 3 feet. That's what I will use on my question. 1 yard equals 3 feet. So 1 yard equals 3 feet. Okay. That's my initial formula, and then I'll bring down whatever I have. I have 54 feet, right? Put it underneath your feet unit, 54 feet, and then the question we need to figure out, how many yard is this? Figure your pattern out. How many times 3 equals 54? So the easiest way is just divide 54 by 3, you will get 18. So this is times 18. You can use Google's calculator or Desmos.com. I will show you that calculator later. And then this is times 18. That's the pattern I need in the area that I have my question mark. So what about 1 times 18? That's 18 yard as well. Right here, we will put 18 over here and submit our answer. Let's have another example. Now, the third level of this assignment requires us to kind of use our brain a little more, because we need to use critical thinking skills to solve this sort of a question. Now, convert to find the equivalent rate. So we have 672 crates per year, and then we are trying to figure out how many crates would we have in a month. So the first step is to get rid of the same parts of the unit, such as this right here, and then that right here. Okay, now we have 672 in a year. We are trying to figure out how many we would have in a month. Now, so from year to month, let me see. How many month is a year? That's what we need to figure out. Or let's just think about this. So we have 12 months. 12 months in a year, right? So in the first question, I told you, since we are dealing with ratios, we are either going to divide or multiply. So that's what we need to figure out. Are we going to divide or multiply? So since we are trying to make our way from year to month, you need to figure out, are we trying to deal with shorter length or shorter time interval, or is it something longer? So from year to month, the time is going to get shorter. So instead of having something 672 of something, we'll have less. Just think of this. Let's say you can eat 100 pounds in a year. Would you be eating more or less in a month? So the logical answer tells you that you would eat less in a month because it's a shorter time frame. So instead of multiplying it by 12 and ending up with a huge number, we need to divide 672 by 12. Because the time frame is shorter, we are going to have less of that something. So this is what we need to do. 672 divided by 12. So let's just say you don't know what this is. 672 divided by 12. I will open a calculator, or you can even just use this address bar, 672 divided by 12. And it'll show you that the answer is 56. You can use either this calculator for simple add, multiply, divide, or subtract operations, or for more complicated things, I'll show you another calculator later when we start dealing with those sort of things. This would be 56. Okay, here's the last question of the day for this assignment. We need to do two conversions. So as you see, there's nothing the same. Like pounds turns into ounces, year turns into month. So that means I need to do two conversion at once. So the initial number that I have is 36, right? And then I told you in the first question and in probably all of these questions, we need to either multiply or divide. If you're getting something bigger, we're gonna multiply. If you have like shorter time frame, we're gonna divide. If it's getting smaller, we're gonna divide. Yeah. So pounds to ounces. So if you Google or if you remember the first example, 1 pound equals to 16 ounces, right? So it's gonna get bigger. We are gonna end up with a bigger number. So pound to ounces is going to give me something bigger. So instead of dividing, I'll multiply 36 by 16 because I'll end up with a bigger number. Now, in the denominator, my year becomes month. It's a shorter time frame. It's getting smaller. The time is getting smaller. 1 year has 12 months. So I will either divide or multiply by 12. But since it's getting smaller, I'll divide it by 12. Or you can also think of this as since the year and month conversion is in the bottom, figure that number out and then put it in the right spot. So pounds and ounces were at the top, and then I knew that this would give me 16 times more numbers. So I put 16 at the top of this fraction, and then from year to month, I will end up with 12 months for every year, but this time it's in the denominator. So that's why I put that 12 in the denominator. So once I do this math, let me see, this would be 3 times 16 is 48. So the answer for this question would be 48 ounces per month. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll record another video for the second assignment of the week.